Well, I'm a lot of movies behind. You know what that means. Set 'em up, DP, so I can knock 'em down.
Let's count them down.
Unforgettable. Now, everybody knows that I love me some Rosario Dawson, and after the movie Home Sweet Hell, I think crazy Katherine Heigl is the best Katherine Heigl. So, I had a little hope for this movie that it could at least be fun trash. While there's really nothing original about this one, it at least has two lead actresses doing their best to keep it entertaining. Dawson makes the best of a generic role, and Heigl could just play Crazy Girls forever and I'd be okay with it. While they did their best, I still probably wouldn't recommend it, even though it's not the worst trash out there, and I still love you, Rosario. Next up, Gifted. Chris Evans plays an uncle that is trying to raise his sister's gifted daughter in the most normal way possible. I don't know if it's just the dad in me, but I really dug this movie. The main premise is that the uncle and his overbearing mother begin to fight over how the little girl should be raised. I enjoyed that pretty much every character in this one is flawed, even the little girl, played by McKenna Grace. Every character has something to learn, which always makes for some interesting character development. Also, we have an early candidate for Gino's Crush of the Year with Jenny Slate's character. This is a solid drama with a lot of heart. Next up, The Circle. Where do I even begin with this one? The movie tries to portray things that could happen in real life, but there is no way that a private company could do all the things they do without getting into trouble, and this includes things like fraud, unlawful recording, and freaking murder. The resolution at the end should have been the obvious answer from the beginning, and the ending itself is just plain stupid. The plot of this movie is dumb, the waste of talent is unforgivable, and a runtime of under 2 hours that feels like 3 is unbearable. Next up, Grow House. So, I've never been high, but I don't think even being high watching this would make it funny at all. Next up, Teen Titans, The Judas Contract. While this is yet another entertaining animated DC movie, I felt it took too much time having to set up a lot of characters in its somewhat short runtime. This hindered setting up the villain Brother Blood. That being said, I still had a good time watching it. The banter between Starfire and Nightwing is really funny. The relationship between one of the villains and one of the heroes is, well, kind of creepy, and most of the characters are pretty entertaining. I will say that part of the plot felt a little too familiar because it was kind of used in the early 2000s Teen Titans cartoon as well. While this wasn't the best offering from DC Animated, it's still worth checking out. Next up, A United Kingdom. This is based on the true story of a king from Africa falling in love with a British woman and the problems that it caused for both countries. While the love story at first does feel a little cheesy, after a while the story turns into more than that. The issue of racism for both countries in the 1940s becomes the main plot, as the couple's love becomes a symbol of change. There is also a plot involving the British government having ulterior motives for wanting the king out of power. Rosamund Pike puts on a solid performance, and David Oyelowo proves that he is quickly becoming one of the best quote-unquote movie speech actors in the business. Next up, The Promise. This movie is a love story taking place during the Armenian genocide in the early 1900s. While I thought that the story surrounding the love plot was very interesting, the love triangle plot itself is pretty weak and hinders this one from being more watchable. Oscar Isaac and Christian Bale do their best to still make this one work, and both are pretty good in it. If you can get past the love triangle, there's an interesting movie here, but I don't really know if I could give this one a solid recommendation. Next up, Free Fire. I wanted to like this movie, I really did, but in the end it just kinda got repetitive and a bit boring. I really liked the characters, with Armie Hammer's dry-witted Ord being the most entertaining, and the build-up to the action was a lot of fun. Now, the action started good, but after a while it got a little ridiculous, and I mean of the Looney Tunes variety. While the novelty of all the characters being bullet-absorbing sponges that kept on going was entertaining at first, it started to get a little old as the movie went on. When the characters finally started to die near the end of the movie, it had no real impact. While I thought this one was okay in the end, I was hoping for so much more. Next up, How to Be a Latin Lover. After seeing this, I could have swore that this was a Happy Madison production. The main character could have easily been played by Adam Sandler doing one of his stupid voices. This is one of those comedies that I have a hard time recommending because of the inconsistencies of the jokes. I'd say the percentage of the jokes landing are about 50%. Off and on, you'd have something that was totally funny and then something that falls dead flat, and this goes on for the whole movie. The nephew of the main character pretty much steals every scene he is in, and Rob Lowe playing a gold digger is quite entertaining. Unfortunately, the main character of Maximo is really annoying a lot of the time. And speaking of Happy Madison, Sandy Wexler. Set in the 1990s, Adam Sandler plays a not-so-great talent agent that discovers his first real talented client in the form of a singer played by Jennifer Hudson. I know, a big stretch, right? This pretty much feels like any other Adam Sandler movie. Recurring Happy Madison actors? Check. Main beautiful female character somehow falls for Sandler's doofy character? Check. Sandler playing one of his quote-unquote characters? Check. It's all here. Well, I thought the mockumentary style might have worked for this one. It falls flat because Sandler's character is just so annoying. That being said, he either has a lot of friends or he sold his soul to Satan a long time ago to get some of the people that are in this one. The movie also tries to do to the 90s what The Wedding Singer did for the 80s, which is drop in jokes that contradict what actually happened in the decade. Again, these jokes fall flat because we have to deal with the same Sandler garbage that we've been dealing with for years now. Phew, I am so glad that I am caught up on all of those. As always, thank you so much for watching. Did you see any of the movies on this list? Feel free to comment on any of them down in the comment section below. But remember, it's only just one guy's opinion. I'm Gino Reynolds from The Real Gino. Until next time.